right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final episode of Mankitsu happening. I can't believe I'm actually finishing this series, and I'm not gonna lie, this was actually one of my favorite series, and actually back in 2016 when I first come across this. So we're back with with the adventurous Keichii and the rest of the gang. So apparently. This one is actually gonna be quite a doozy because trust me, it's gonna get a lot wilder than the last episode. The last episode was just basically an introduction of the president of the Medium Manga Cafe. So today we're gonna actually get to the truth and the concoction of the plan that Ray came up with basically. Even though it wasn't a plan, it wasn't a direct plan, it was more like an indirect plan. So what I also noticed is that there's a lot of references of other animes in this show. So particularly in the introduction of this final episode, it starts off with the opening of the Media Manga Cafe. So if you guys see on the image in which I'm not supposed to show, there is a scene on the very first video I created it with the guy who stops time and manipulates the entire situation. So yeah, there's a lot of references, kind of like the anime of Grand Blue. That's why I'm basically seeing, because there's like two other animes that apparently exist within the same universe. I'm not I maybe I'm wrong, maybe I could stand corrected, but yeah, there were a lot of references regarding this particular episode. So they go to the inside of the cafe, and it looks much more fancy, it looks more spacious, it looks like a 5-star Hyatt hotel basically. For nerds, let's just like that, let's get that clear. They see the president, Sayaka, and she's like really gloating, and she's telling them, well, how does it feel to lose a business? And this is where things get interesting. So she is feeling weird, and she looks a bit off, and Ray notices this. Out of all the girls, she's probably the first one to notice. Then Kurumi and the idol singer also notice that, hey, why is the president acting strange and she looks very off? It's almost like she's sick. Then she realized there was something that fell off of underneath her skirt, and it turns out to be a huge ass purple vibrator. Yes, one of those dingalings, those big ass mandingos that fell off, and she was literally tasting for samples. She was like a detective. And then after doing all of that testing, she realizes she sees something on the ground. It looks like liquid, but it's not your type of liquid. It's not water. It's not like spill or anything. This is not your typical spill. This is literally vaginal fluid spill on the ground, and it looked like trails. So the rest of the gang, and with Ray in the lead, she's following the trail, and it leads to like this door. So apparently when they open the door, they see her playing with herself, Sayaka I'm referring to, and she's literally gloating while playing with herself. That's insane levels of crazy. And while she's doing this, they all behind her just watching in such a shock. And Ray took it upon herself to say, you know what? You wanna see us suffer that badly? We're gonna expose you. So she did. And afterwards, it turns out that after doing all of that, the Media Manga Cafe got exposed, and they shut it down immediately. And she's been banned from all manga cafes across this country, well, across the cities. Well, basically across the country. And because of this, she has no choice but to work for the Freedom Manga Cafe. So they took back their business, and seems like things were going back to normal. And she was like really upset about this. She's like, well, because of y'all, I am no longer the president, and my family disowned me. And she's like, Keiichi's like correcting her and humbling her by telling her, well, listen, that's kind of your fault too, because you were like all perverted and shit, so that ain't our fault. So Ray tells them, hey, listen, I need you guys to work along and get along with each other and get familiar. And yeah, they were literally being familiar with themselves. So they go to her expensive ass room, like a like an executive room for herself, and Keiichi is like cleaning up for her, and she's like literally trying to make this man's life a living hell, even after the fact that they won against her, and she was gloating, and she was trying her best to make them suffer. But I guess, you can't throw stones on a glass house, because guess what happens to people who throws their stones at, at their own glass house? It shatters. So afterwards they trip, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but if you guys thought that anime is the only genre of shows that whenever someone falls at a ridiculous level and then they just ended up in this compromising position, anime is the best at doing that. I'm not sure. I don't know why. I guess they want to add to like a kind of comedic relief to it. I guess, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just a theory, I guess. So they ended up doing it, and not gonna lie, it looked like a freak off, and like the ultimate freak off, because we had Ray Sayaka doing it, and then we had the singing idol, and then we had Kurumi in the mix. It was like a whole session. Now it was crazy, to say the least. So that is the end of this final episode. Like I said, there was like two animes, one of which I already did, and the other one that I mentioned in my last video, I'm gonna actually try to do that series, but I'm actually on the work on doing something else. So I would be definitely be doing another series very soon. So you guys make sure to look out for that. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I guess that is it for this series. I'm not gonna lie, it was one of my personal faves, especially when anime.tv was going through like a drought, especially during the pandemic, and there was like no new content coming out, being released for months. I would say almost an entire year there was no new content. And I guess, yeah, anyways, that is it for this video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. What was your favorite like part of it, and what was your least favorite? I think honestly, my favorite part of this show is when they finally expose her for who she truly was, and they brought her down. That was actually kind of good, and it was oddly satisfying. But yeah, let me know what you guys also think about this show in general. And if I'm gonna give my honest rating on this, I'm gonna rate it a definite 8.5 out of 10. One, because there was some character development, and two, despite it being censored, I think is the fact that there was some plot and some plot twists in it that kind of made it even better. And the storyline was actually good too. So I'm not complaining. And the animation was extremely clean too for a show that came out back in 2016. Yeah, I'm actually impressed by the animation. But yeah, so anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all guys for your support, and have a good one. Have a good weekend actually. And also, before I go, if you guys want to watch like the full episode, you guys can definitely just copy and paste the title, because I post the source on the title of the video. I don't really put the links in the description, because just because I just rather just put the name and the title on the video. And also, yeah, I will be doing another series very soon, so make sure to look out for the new series, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for more content as I post. I will try to post at least, I would like to say, 2 videos per week, because I got work, and then I try to balance work life and my personal life, so I'm not trying to saturate myself too much. But anyways, again, I really enjoy the support, and yeah, have a good one and peace out.